Thank you for clicking on the video. Today's my first time ever playing World of Warcraft thanks to a brand new VR mod given to me by the Flat2VR Discord community, and more specifically StreetRat and Marilu, who made the Half-Life 2 VR and Final Fantasy 14 mods. Now for those of you like me who may have never played the game, I went in expecting 6th weapon control, but this is purely a point and click based adventure, and after spending around 3 hours I've actually had a really good time. There is a lot to learn and the mod has already been updated 3 times this week. And that was mostly to make the UI more user friendly, which personally I'm very grateful for, but the experience for me has been very cool. Even though the graphics do look very simplistic regardless of what settings I put them on, I think it looks really charming and the music has been really cool. I'm obviously not going to try and review World of Warcraft as I'm such a novice at it, but I can actually see myself now spending more time in the game thanks to VR. Now one thing to bear in mind is you will need to join a private server. You can't play this on the normal server, obviously probably due to anti-cheat. The controls use touch controllers via a cursor from the right controller, and you can switch from first person to third person at any time, and one of the real surprises was actually dying. It was a really cool moment because you enter a spectral afterlife which looks really cool in VR. As someone who hasn't really played any particular games like this, it did have a tough learning curve, but I'm now happy with what I've learned to keep going, and I've collecting quests and just going out on my own and having a good time. But to give you guys a proper opinion on this mod, I reached out to my friend I Am Roots, who is probably the most serious World of Warcraft player I know personally, and he has spent over 460 days in the game, spanning from the OG World of Warcraft all the way to the current classic, Wrath of the Lich King and Hardcore. And his take isn't as positive as mine, but I still think it needs to be shared for those of you who are hardcore in this game and considering using this mod. And to add a bit more context for what the end game would be for someone like me who's now a novice and would group up with more people, he's told me a raid can be from 10 to 25 people, depending on the actual raid and the size of the party. Now Roots plays as a healer, so his job is to watch all the health bars and mouse over and click whichever person needs to be healed and using a healing spell. And one of his jobs is to be situationally aware of what is going on with the rest of his party. He's constantly changing heals, changing what people to heal, and sometimes he gets really crazy trying to keep everyone alive. Now his main point of trouble is that when you're in VR, it's going to be really hard to point and aim at a specific person to click the spell on, and he said he won't be able to tell where the person is at times. And there is so many people running around and trying to click a health bar, he just can't see it actually happening in his VR mod after his testing. And at the moment, the mod doesn't actually allow you to use keyboard and mouse. He thinks the controls are also pretty bad, and he thinks they're counterintuitive for anyone who's actually played the game. One of the things I found a bit confusing while using the mod is basically which way you face, because if you walk forward, sometimes the game doesn't really know which way you're facing. So if I go up to a creature to start attacking them, I could be facing the wrong way, but actually in VR it looks like you are facing the right way. So you have to click into third person to kind of work that out a little bit. So with that in mind, I would personally still recommend you give it a try, especially if you're new like me to World of Warcraft. It's completely free to try, and I've had a really good time. And for most of you, if you haven't experienced your favourite games in VR, it's a brilliant moment. Just to be in that world, the immersion is fantastic. But what I'm kind of getting the feel is from Roots is that when it gets to later on levels or joining up with a party in raids, that VR might not be the best option. Hopefully some more updates will come later on down the line. As I said, the mods have already updated it 3 times this week alone. So with that all being said, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. Check out the video description to join the Flat2VR Discord so you can check out the mod yourself, and I imagine in there you'll be able to leave some feedback and just get in there and start testing. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.